Well, the first thing I'd like to do is thank for the opportunity to address the members. I think communication is one of my key roles this year and the key themes of my presidency, and the ability to reach out electronically to members that I can't meet face to face is just a great opportunity. The role of the president is to oversee the board, to run the board meetings, to be the face of the APMA. When I was doing my residency in Baltimore, the American Pediatric Medical Postgraduate Association was just starting. And Peter Pecos, who was a classmate of mine in Iowa at Des Moines University, was one of the founders of that organization. And he approached me in the residency program and said, "You need to get involved in this." So I did. So Peter talked me into becoming involved. Francie Lagana was one that was involved, and then there's some names people may recognize. Ira Kraus from our Board of Trustees was on that group, on the founders. Hal Ornstein, Peter, so there were a lot of us that are still around that were involved in the founding of that group. And after we founded that, they just never could get rid of me. The biggest accomplishment I've seen is the change in the philosophy of the Board of Trustees. When I first got on the board, the newest members on the board were encouraged to kind of sit and be quiet, and we'll ask you when we want you to speak. That's not the mentality now. That's not the philosophy. We no longer call the newest person a low person on the totem pole. That person, whoever the newly elected person is this year, will be welcome to be involved in all the discussions, welcome to participate in all the instructions. They'll have committee assignments. They jump in both feet running to start with. A lot of the changes we've seen are results of goals that we have. One of the goals that we have is Title 19 passage to define podiatrists as physicians in the Medicaid. One of the results that we've got because of that goal is inclusion in electronic medical records reimbursement. We've got inclusion in lots of different types of laws and regulations. We have a non-discrimination part in the Accountable Care Act. Those things all came about because of the Title 19 aspects that we've done. We've increased residency positions since I've been on the board. We've increased the funding for the student scholarships since I've been on the board. We've developed the Coding Resource Center, which is one thing that I've been very involved in developing that, so we've got resources for people to make sure that they can function in a business and still be profitable in their business. The coding seminar is another aspect that I've been heavily involved in. So most of my experience has been in health policy and practice in the legislative arena, so that's where I'm passionate about and where I feel that we've made a lot of advances. Pathway to Parity is an ongoing project. We will continue to push the envelope to make sure that we are, all of our members are able to practice within their own personal education, training, and experience. There are issues of Vision 2015, now Pathway to Parity, that still need to be accomplished. Some of those are state laws. We may need to make some changes in state laws. I was very involved in changing the North Carolina state law in 1995. I've been helping South Carolina, where I hold a license also, to try to change their act to make their legal abilities in line with their education, training, and experience. So that's one of the big things that we still have to do, is on an individual state basis make sure that the state laws allow the podiatrists to practice within their education, training, and experience. The main thing that I want to accomplish in my inauguration speech, I used the North Carolina state motto, which is Esse quam videri, and translated it means to be rather than to seem. And I want all of the stakeholders in medicine to understand who we are, not who they think we are. What we do, not what they think we do. So to be rather than to seem is my motto this year, and that's what I want to project. And we can do that through communication, we can do that through organizational discussions, but that's the main thing. I want everybody to understand who we actually are, what we actually do, not what their preconceived thoughts of what we are or who we are or what we do. That goes back to my motto for this year, and that's one reason I chose that motto, not only just being from North Carolina, but to project what we actually are. Most of the naysayers that we may have had this year have stated their opinions based on what their perceptions were, not on what factual reality was. So by presenting that factual reality, who we are, what we do, to be rather than to seem, will quell a lot of those naysayers and a lot of those issues that may have arisen this year. Some people look at it as challenges. I look at it as an opportunity. My opportunity this year is not only to travel and interrelate with Dr. Gasworth, but also help mold Dr. Christina's future as Executive Director. So I'm looking forward to that opportunity. I've talked with Jim, I've talked with Glenn, and they're both looking forward to that opportunity too, of melding the three of us together as the face and the leadership team of APMA over the next year. When it comes to young physicians, I have a vested interest in young physicians. I'm the parent of a young pediatric physician. My daughter Meredith is in her first year of residency at St. Francis Hospital in Hartford, Connecticut. People say she followed in my footsteps, but my daughter formed her own path. She just happened to go to the same university that I did, but she's a self-made person and formed her own way. But I want to make sure that not only she, but the rest of her generation is able to continue to practice in the way they want, not in the system that a health insurance company, that a hospital bylaws, that a state law says they have to practice, that they're able to practice to the level of their own individual education, training, and experience, and practice the type of medicine that they want to practice. APMA is the only division, branch, society, association, whatever term you'd like to use, in pediatric medicine surgery that is involved in the CPT and the RUC. The CPT is run by the AMA, and I actually serve on a CPT committee at AMA that develops procedure codes. Those procedure codes then go to the RUC, which is the group run by AMA that values the codes. Then the insurance companies take what they have done and actually set a fee for the procedure. We have input at every level of that process, and we're the only group in pediatry that does that. We're the only group that has input at all those levels. And we have representatives through our Health Policy and Practice Department that studies the issues, studies the new codes, studies the reimbursement, and helps develop what our members get paid for those individual codes. One of the biggest issues that we have is that we put out a tremendous amount of information. And one of the most common questions I get when I travel is, well, I didn't know APMA was doing that. Unfortunately, we have about a 25% open rate on emails that we send to our members. That's good news because that's higher than most other associations. It's bad news because 75% of our members aren't opening what we send them. They don't read what we send them. Open your emails, read the APMA news, read the journal, read the information that we send to you, and help us disseminate that information so that people understand who we are, what we are, and don't have those preconceptions of who or what we are, or who they think we are. The main thing I want to say, it is an honor to be the president of APMA. This is a lifelong goal, a lifelong dream, and a lifelong process. I want to make sure that I leave this association better than it was when I got here, and that future generations find me faithful to the association, to the members.